Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill,
And I'm DK.
and boy, do we have a show for you today. We are going to be reviewing the 1999 Survivor Series. This is a unique show for a lot of reasons. I think we probably both have our own backstory to this event, which we'll get to in a little bit. But before we get to that, just want to talk about a couple of WWE news quickly because we want to get into this show. Basically it's business, and this all happened yesterday or within a 24-hour period from when we're recording, which is Friday. The first bit is SmackDown is going back to the USA Network starting in October 2024. Their 5-year deal with Fox ends next year. Fox did not agree to a new contract, so SmackDown's going back to the USA Network on Friday nights, or at least for right now, it'll be Friday nights.
Yeah, is this a big money deal for TKO then?
Mm-hmm.
Just like they're going to be losing a lot of money because of Fox.
Yeah.
That's probably maybe the reason why some of the layoffs. I like the Friday night SmackDown. I like the Monday Night Raw. I like just kind of like how it's like the order of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah. So
I'm actually glad you brought that up because there are rumors that Raw and NXT may not be on USA Network next year with this move for SmackDown. And it is to the point that if another channel or a streaming service gets Raw, there's a chance it may not be Monday Night Raw.
it has to be on Monday. It's Monday Night Raw.
I know.
Would they
It's
just call it Raw then?
I
Yeah.
guess
Because Tuesday Night Raw or Wednesday Morning Raw, that sounds really stupid.
weekday afternoon Raw.
Well, if you put it on streaming, like how many people would watch it live?
Exactly. Like if it goes on Peacock, I think they're going to be okay, even though like NBC and Universal has lost like $3 billion on Peacock, but I think they may be okay there. I mean, I've heard Amazon, I've heard Disney
Yeah,
as leading contenders. So,
like Amazon's been dropping so much money on things like this.
mm-hmm.
That wouldn't surprise me. They, I don't know how much money they paid for that Thursday night football,
Yeah,
but that's a huge thing for them. Disney too. Be It'd be interesting to see what happens. But
yeah.
yeah, because like Monday Night Raw, it's been on USA for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think there was a time where they left USA for a bit and they went to Spike
Mm-hmm.
and then they went back to USA because I don't know, something to do with the deal. But yeah, like what so they would take SmackDown, but they wouldn't do Raw? Is this
I mean,
what
for right now, I mean, it could change.
I don't understand. Why can't you do both? Like, why don't you just have one channel that's okay? That's the WWE channel, basically. Like, is
I don't
what
know.
the reason is like SmackDown's the better show now, but that's because of who's on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe the writing team. Like, maybe you need to get better writers and better stars for Monday if you're looking at the ratings, and that's probably the reason for some of this
Yeah.
stuff.
So then that same day, WWE started to let go of talent. I put the list up on our Facebook group. The majority of them were at some point on the main roster. The others are NXT or they were in the Performance Center. So some of the names you probably will not know. I know there's a few that I was like, who? So, but I'll go through the list real quick. So these were the individuals that unfortunately were let go by WWE. Elias, Mustafa Ali, Aaliyah, Shelton Benjamin, Top Dollar, Riddick Moss, Emma, Dolph Ziggler, which I think is the big one there, Rick Boogs, Quincy Elliott, Dana Brooke, Mace, Mansoor, Bryson Montana, Dabba Kato, Shanky, Yulia Leon. I had to try that one twice. Ikeman Jiro, Kevin Ventura Cortez, Alexis Gray, Brooklyn Barlow, and Daniel MacArthur.
Okay, I think I recognize 2 or 3 of those names, so no big loss here. Dolph Ziggler is a big name. I don't think they haven't used Dolph Ziggler
Not in
properly
a
since
while.
the bank in the mid-2000s. Instead of John Cena's tweet, 1,900 matches, 19 years in the company.
Yeah.
You that's a brutal layoff. They could have let him have some big pay-per-view match, loser leaves town, and then he loses this epic match, make it a storyline or something, where then maybe he could come back and maybe make it a big deal later. Just tweeting out that this long-term, maybe Hall of Fame guy 1 year. Not saying he's Hall of Famer now, but with all those records he has, maybe. Just to say, we don't need you anymore, or your contract's too big. I'm sure he'll be on his way to AEW.
Yeah, because his brother is in AEW.
Like most of these guys do. But like I always said, like there's not enough time to put everybody in a good storyline and get good TV time. Unfortunately, Dolph Ziggler is maybe in this spot where his contract was probably a little bit too high, and he just they couldn't fit him in. So
yeah,
unfortunate, but I think he'll definitely bounce wherever he ends up going. I think he'll do well, and he'll probably bring some fans where he goes.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Because I want to add on with Dolph. If he decides to continue, which I think he will, AEW seems like the easiest place to go because his brother is in AEW. So that's kind of like 2 and 2 together. You got to go with that. Mustafa Ali was advertised for the next NXT event, which is next Saturday, to challenge for the North American title. Now that's all gone. I have no idea where that's going to go. I think the ones that I kind of feel sad for, and I'll explain why, is Riddick Moss and Emma, because the day before they got released, they posted on Instagram their engagement pictures. You post your engagement pictures, and at the next day it's like, you're gone.
Yep. Hopefully you paid for your wedding already, because you're not getting paid next week.
Right. But as far as the others, it's kind of a let's see what happens. I don't really know right off the bat where everyone's gonna go. I know AEW is a place. New Japan, Impact, Ring of Honor. I'll probably dive into that more this weekend on that wrestling show. So
yeah, there's lots of like places you can go, or you can kind of like, I don't know if there's like non-compete for any of these guys. Probably not.
I read there is a 90-day compete clause.
There is? Okay. That's so brutal. Like, okay, we're not going to pay you to wrestle for us, but we're not going to let you. That's like getting laid off of your job. And then you're not allowed to work for 3 months anywhere. So you just have to like sit and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like of those guys, the 2 big names for me is Dolph and Mustafa Ali. I could see both of them landing in AEW. They're kind of like some of those guys that they covet, like high flying, pretty good wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like Dolph Ziggler, Nick, whatever his last, I can't remember his real last name.
Right.
I'm sure he could have some really good matches with some of the guys over there. So I'm sure he's already probably in negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
So in 90 days, you might see
90 days.
him on AEW TV.
Yeah,
It's too bad. This happens like every couple of years.
it does.
Um, I saw this list a couple days ago, and there were some names on there that didn't end up getting released. I don't know if it was someone just guessing, but
Mhm.
Matt Riddle was on the list, and that surprised me. So I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I didn't think
Yeah, he's
early.
not been on their good side as of late.
No, he's had
Um,
some problems, obviously,
yeah,
and since Randy Orton's been out, he's been, I think Randy Orton really helped him.
he did.
Um, so that I don't know if that list was just a fake list that I saw, or if it was maybe something where he was close to being released and then he wasn't.
Yeah,
Not sure about that. If anyone has seen any other lists of other guys,
let us know.
And Elias came clean.
Yeah,
Ezekiel, that was him.
all along.
Him.
Doggone it.
They dropped the ball with Elias.
Oh my God, yes.
He had some good stuff going on there. The walk with Elias, the WWE could have been really good with merchandise.
The problem
Loved them.
the problem was, and it's not his fault. It's they created a character that had limits.
Yeah, for sure.
He couldn't go over being this musician.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, in a way, and I'm not trying to make a comparison here. It's kind of like Honky Tonk Man, like the character Honky Tonk Man, where it's like it has limits.
sure.
But what happened was the guy that was Honky Tonk Man was able to go over the limit and make him this memorable character. Here, he was never given a chance.
But you have to make those yourself sometimes.
Exactly.
Like, okay, when you said Honky Tonk Man, I was going to compare him to another musician character, and that's Double J.
Good one. That's another good one.
Double J was, he'd come out, ain't I great, same shit every week, get the guitar, and then he had to evolve.
Yeah.
He had many different versions of himself. Elias could have done that. I'm not blaming this on Elias either. There's only so much time for you. This is a guy that had a segment with John Cena and The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he had a segment with John Cena 2 WrestleManias in a row.
Yeah, so they obviously thought a lot about him. He would string that guitar, the crowd would go nuts.
Oh yeah,
he had a lot of opportunities there, and so hopefully, like, some of these guys can come back or go other places and succeed in the wrestling business. But that Elias one, it didn't surprise me, but I was kind of bummed about that one.
Yeah.
I think Mustafa Ali can be very good given the right circumstance, and obviously Ziggler was that was kind of shitty to hear. I always enjoyed seeing him in a ring.
All right. One final piece of news. This is minor news, but Chris Jericho retweeted our show from last week.
Right?
Oh my God.
Hold on. Did you say minor news?
I had to lead that up as a joke.
The Ayatollah of rock and roll.
Okay, so I think I gotta explain what happened. So Friday night, when we recorded last week, I actually had nothing to do for once. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put both shows up because we do our gambling podcast as well. So usually when I use Twitter or X or whatever it is at this point, the only time I ever really use it is to plug our shows, or if there's a friend of it, like one of my friends that has a show, I'll retweet them. Yeah, retweet them.
Repost, I believe it's called.
Yeah, repost. So I go to bed after putting it up. Just like, normal Friday night. I wake up the next morning. I go get my phone. And I'm scrolling through, and then I see retweeted by I Am Jericho, or by Chris Jericho. I'm like, Holy shit.
Then you message
So
me. I'm like, "No, I didn't see."
yeah, so I'm like, dude, do you know who retweeted our show last night? He's like, no, Jericho. And he's like, get the fuck out of here.
I didn't say that.
And I'm like,
I have to check because there's so many fake accounts, right?
exactly. But
Yeah, it's a verified Chris Jericho account, which
it
is pretty
is.
cool. And he liked, like I replied to him thanking
Mhm.
him for the repost, and he did like that reply as well. So that's pretty cool. Not saying he listened to the show,
Right.
but just that he acknowledged two guys trying to just have fun with talk
Mhm.
about wrestling. Like we've never tried to make money at this. It's more of just having fun.
Yeah.
If we end up making money one day, that'd be awesome.
Mhm.
Or more people that listen, the better for
Yeah.
us. So yeah, repost it as much as you can.
Exactly.
And Jericho doing that with his million plus followers, that was huge. So hopefully got a few
I
more
know we
audience.
got a good number of likes on there. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, getting that from Jericho is like, what?
yeah, it's a big deal, right?
It is. It is.
So thank you to
Yes. Thank you, Chris. If you're listening,
my fellow Canadian.
you know who's a big Jericho fan? Barry Horowitz.
What's not to like?
I know, right?
Like if
All
you listen
right.
to last week's episode, you can hear we did 99 to 2000.
2001. I think that was because we'll kind of pull back the curtain real quick. We were going to go to 03, but DK's like, no, let's stop at 01.
We,
Might have ended
we,
up being one of the best decisions you've ever made.
we like I'd like to do is the shorter the shows based on years, the more in depth we can get about each
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Exactly.
Because that show we did, now we're gonna do two more shows. That show, first show we did on the Undertaker, 90 to 99. That took a few years off my life. That was so much stuff for a legend.
Yeah.
9 years of the Undertaker. Like at the end of it, I was more tired than when I worked an entire double shift. So
Right.
um I almost want to do like 5 year increments with the Undertaker stuff, but like
Maybe in the future.
once you get later in Taker's career, it's like he showed up at WrestleMania and then Saudi show. Talk about
Yeah.
two things. Then it goes a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But my point with the Jericho thing is 02 to like 05 is a huge part of his career as well. And that will be a whole different episode. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully Chris retweets that one too as well.
All right. So we do have a review today, and it is the 1999 WWF Survivor Series. Now, before we even get into this, because we kind of did an interesting thing where for this one, I was allowed to pick the year, DK was allowed to pick the show. So I'm going to ask.
And I think we will do that more often because that was kind of an interesting way to do it.
Yeah. So why this Survivor Series?
Well, to be honest, I had never seen this show before.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'd seen parts like from like if you watched anything in the year 2000, you saw the part where Stone Cold got ran over.
Right.
I just hadn't seen this show before. When you picked 99, there was a bunch of good pay-per-views. And I kind of like went through it. I'm like, I came down to two. Like my favorite show of that year was the Valentine's Day Massacre. I was close to picking that one, but I've seen that show a bunch of times. So I'm like, you know what? I don't believe I've seen Survivor Series 99 front to back and seen every match. So let's roll with this one. And we'll get into it. It's gonna be fun.
And I'll just
Why'd you pick 99?
When we were, thinking of, okay, when you asked me the year, I like 99 just popped in my head because if we had done what we usually do, I did have a show in mind,
Okay.
but I'm going to keep that in my pocket for another day because I
Okay.
don't want to spoil what I had in mind.
Okay.
But I guess I was like, 99 does have some good shows. So I was like, we haven't really done nine. I don't think we've even done it. Let me check real quick. I'm gonna go on our Facebook. I don't know if we've done a show from 99 at all to this point.
Yeah, I know the Valentine's Day Massacre lost a poll to something in '97,
Yeah.
so we were close to doing that one. Um,
Okay. Yeah, we have not done a show from 99,
okay.
which kind of surprising.
I was close to picking SummerSlam, but I'd seen that a few times. I
Mhm.
liked that show, but I was, I was a little something I'd seen recently. So,
Yeah,
hey, Survivor Series, let's check it out.
exactly. Okay, so as we usually do, we go into the numbers and all of that briefly before we get to the actual event itself. Unfortunately, there is no Around the Wrestling World on this episode. WCW and ECW did not have a show on this day, which sucks. And the only other places that were having shows were in Japan. We're not going to do Japan. So sorry for
Yeah,
those that wanted us to talk about all Japan pro wrestling.
yeah. I need to do a little bit more research if we're doing something like that.
Exactly. Okay. So this was on November 14th, 1999. This was held at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Had an attendance of 18,735 with a gate of $841,095, which did better than last year's Survivor Series, although Joe Louis is, I think, a little bit of a bigger arena. As far as the pay-per-view numbers, it's a little bit lower than last year, but not by much. This got a 1.14 on pay-per-view.
Well, in '98, that was the Deadly Game tournament.
Yeah, that was the tournament.
And if you're going to crown a new WWF champion, you're going to get more. Like, if you're guaranteeing a new champion, that is definitely going to get more people to watch.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's why I think that one probably did a little bit better.
But still a 1.14. That's
Yeah.
nothing to really cry about there.
Oh yeah. Well, like '98 and '99 were great years for
Yeah.
not just.
This is a sellout crowd. This is a legit sellout crowd. Meltzer noted that they also made $153,000 plus in merchandise. So this is almost $1 million show at this time. So that's really, really good.
150,000 in merch.
Uh-huh.
Man, a lot of Austin shirts.
Okay, so I do happen to have a little bit of a backstory with this show before we get into it.
Okay.
I did see this show when it happened. This actually was held on the day of my sister Shannon's birthday. So she was fine with me watching the show. So, it was all right.
Yeah.
The other reason, well, there's a lot I remember about the show, but the one that I remember the most. Now, you got to remember, I'm in the 8th grade. I'm 14 at the time. The next day, my mom was having a knee operation. She was having her knee replaced. So I decided to take that day off because I knew I just wasn't going to be thinking straight at all that day.
Sure.
So like a few weeks before, I was like, I'm just going to take the day off. And my folks were fine with it. And then Survivor Series is on that night. I taped the show like I usually do with a lot of the pay-per-views when I was younger. So it was kind of a no-brainer. And the buildup was really good because of the main event, Triple H, Rock, Austin. Or will it?
Yeah, I got a take on that as well.
Yeah. Okay, So there were no pre-matches because
Oh man.
yeah, I know, no pre-matches. So with that said, let's get into the 1999 WWF Survivor Series. Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler are our commentators, and we start off with a traditional Survivor Series match, as it is the Godfather, D'Lo Brown, and the Headbangers against the Acolytes and the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, this was I loved how all the guys were coming out dressed as Godfather.
Yes.
First thing I noticed. Um and I'm like, I think I remember a time in '99 where D'Lo and Godfather, like, they weren't in the nation anymore, but they were like tag team or
Mm-hmm.
buddies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if D'Lo was dressing up as the Godfather all the time at this point. Oh, when the Headbangers came out, they had those
Oh, it
wigs.
was great.
And then I'm like, yeah, I like the Dudley Boys. Oh, this can be a hard hitting match. I thought it was pretty good. I like these Survivor Series matches, the elimination matches. We kind of go back and forth, and that's a hard hitting action. And then the team, I believe it's the Acolytes and the Dudley Boys that start fighting each other, and all
Mm-hmm.
hell breaks loose. So, for an opener, I thought it was pretty good. I'm kind of a hard grader, so I'll probably give this one a C minus, but pretty good for what I'm expecting in an opener for a Survivor Series match.
Yeah, this is actually an enjoyable opening match. I thought it told a good story. It got plenty of time. I'm looking at the notes here. It's 9:36 was the time of the match, so I got no complaints there. It
That's
just
a perfect number, honestly, under 10 minutes.
yeah.
Once it gets to that 12, 13 range on these elimination matches, it starts to drag a little bit. 10 minutes, that's good. Keep it right under
Yeah.
10.
And I think it also depends on what the match is itself. So
Yes. Sure.
but no, I enjoyed this one. This was actually a fun opening match. Like you said, it's a Survivor Series elimination match. It's fun. Um, like some of these you're not really supposed to take seriously unless there's a story. And I think with the exception of one, there's really no backstory to any of these elimination matches, which honestly I'm fine with. I gave this a C. So we're not that far off as far
And
as
I, I grade a little bit tougher sometimes because I think there's a bigger discrepancy between certain grades based
yeah.
on matches. So
All right. So this has started to become a fun little game here where DK is going to guess what Dave Meltzer rated these matches. Now, when we did Unforgiven last week, we both agreed he was pretty harsh on some of these badges.
oh yeah, sense either.
Let's see how he does with Survivor Series 99. So what do you think Meltzer gave this opening contest?
I'm you know what, like, I like to criticize Meltzer, but we do have kind of the same opinion when it comes to certain matches.
Mm-hmm.
Um I'll say 1.5 stars.
2.25.
Okay. See, I was estimating low because Dave will do that to you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 2 stars. That's kind of like if we did star rating, we do more of the school grade.
Yeah, we try
Um,
to be different.
I would probably be around that 2 star range.
Yeah,
So I kind of agree with Dave on this one then.
yeah, we try to be different on
You
this.
would be probably 3 stars with your C grade. So
All right. So then we get a video package for Kurt Angle as he is making his long-awaited debut at Survivor Series. I gotta
yeah,
admit, I haven't seen this video package in years. It's well done.
yeah. The funny thing about this in the Kurt Angle documentary, when they wanted him to come in as this Olympic hero, like his
Mhm.
character here, he said, and then he was going to be healed. Vince is like brings him to the house, and he's like, yeah, this is what's going to do. The people are going to hate you. It's going to be great. And he's like, I'm an Olympic gold medalist, Vince. No one's going to hate me. I'm a hero. I went to the Olympics. I won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. They're not going to boo me. His character worked perfectly.
It did.
And he's so good at it. Like him being kind of a nerd in his promos, like his greenness of being a wrestling for a performer.
Yeah.
Like it helped with the character, and you hated him even more.
Yeah.
As it appears to the match, of all the Kurt Angle matches I've seen, this was probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
Like Kurt, you could tell Kurt was going to be good when you saw him in this match. Sean Stasiak, yeah, I don't think he was the greatest opponent for Angle here, but it's someone for him to go over on as a heel doesn't really change his character.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this a D plus. I didn't like the match that much. I believe, like I have my notes here. Let me look for a second. Yeah, it was just under 6 minutes. It seemed like it was longer than that. And when I say that, it just I expected it to finish earlier.
Right.
So that means that I didn't like it that much. So I'm going D plus here.
Okay.
Probably my least favorite Kurt Angle match.
And that's saying something because he's got a lot of really good matches.
Yes.
When we get
that doesn't mean it was a bad match.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah. So
of course, I don't know if this was mentioned in the documentary. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I will at some point.
It's a good watch. Check it out.
He was offered in '96 a contract, and Angle is like, "You gotta be kidding me! I'm not doing this."
Yeah.
And then he goes to ECW. I just want to mention this briefly. So he goes to ECW to make an appearance.
Yeah.
It's the show where the Sandman gets crucified.
Yeah.
And Angle is like, if you ever put me on the same show as this, you're going to hear from my lawyers.
Yeah.
And it never happened. So,
yep.
As far as this match goes, what's unique about this is right away the crowd is chanting boring.
Yeah.
And then they're booing him.
Match, right?
Yeah, and then Angle goes to the outside and he grabs a mic and he's like, "You do not boo an Olympic gold medalist. You do not boo a hero."
And that helped. That helped with the match.
It did, and I liked that.
That wasn't boring anymore.
And then at some point, and I'm going to praise the commentary right now. This might be one of my favorite commentary jobs I've ever heard on a pay-per-view. Jerry Lawler's like, Kurt Angle, he fought for our country in the Olympics. I'm like, he didn't go to war. He didn't get the Purple Heart or something. He just wrestled.
So let me ask you a question. When you say you praise the commentary, are you just talking about that moment, or are you talking about the whole show?
Because I have the whole show.
I have some issues with some of the commentary that does not age well.
Some of it does. I agree with
you. Regarding the Kane match.
Yeah. I mean, some of it doesn't, but a lot of it is just funny.
Oh, yeah. And Jerry Lawler and Kane or Jerry Lawler and JR were just amazing together.
As far as this match, as far as this match, it's okay. I think I agree with you. This is probably his worst pay-per-view match that I've seen for right now. Although we've got a lot of shows I think we'll get to at some point.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I'm giving this grade is actually because of the small stuff. Like the talk, like the cutting the promo in the middle of the match and all of that.
You think that was that was part of the match, or did he just ad lib?
I don't know.
Because because it was right when they were doing the boring chant.
Mm-hmm.
And then he rolled out of the ring and grabbed the mic like a veteran would do to kind of sway the crowd.
Yeah.
Um,
So
maybe he wanted more feedback, like more
maybe.
towards him.
So
Because when he said that, sorry to cut you off again.
mhm,
When he said you don't boo an Olympic hero, they weren't reacting to him at all at that point. They were
exactly.
reacting, they were yelling boring, which you never want to hear as a wrestler. So
I gave this a C minus.
okay.
So
So we're
again,
pretty close. What did old Dave give this match?
well, actually, you know what? I'm going to read you his review, and then I'll
Okay.
let you guess.
Sure.
They figured this one right. Angle came out doing some really good 70s style wrestling, and 30 seconds in the place was already chanting boring. By the 90-second mark, they were booing Angle, and all he had done was a lot of good wrestling moves. Angle turned heel on the fans, telling them that you don't boo an Olympic gold medalist. Angle ended up winning with a Samoan drop. Angle looked impressive, and this was the best Stasiak had looked since coming to the WWF. Not that anyone actually picked up on it.
Well, it sounds like Meltzer was impressed with the psychology of the match.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's probably going to grade this a little bit higher than what I have it. So I'll say 2.5 stars.
1.5.
Okay, so like based on what he says, and then what he grades it, like I guess I'd have to hear what he said about the first match.
Mm-hmm.
The way he was, like the way he was speaking on that review, it sounded like he was really impressed with what happened during the match.
Right.
Not like 1.5 out of 5 is not a good thing. That's not nowhere near good. So yeah. I don't know where he's going with that.
Okay. So our next match is another Survivor Series elimination match. I think these two teams were just randomly put together.
Like, hey, these guys aren't working. Let's put them together.
Val Venus, Mark Henry, Gangrel, and Steve Blackman. My God, what a team. Against the British Bulldog and the Mean Street Posse.
Yeah, like what? And I don't remember the commentating here, but Jerry Lawler was bang on here. He's like, Val Venus should have been in the first match.
Exactly.
with the pimps. Yeah, this one was bad. But okay, so like I believe the way it went is they kind of beat down the posse, and then it was the Bulldog versus the whole team.
Yeah.
And then didn't the Bulldog make a little bit of a comeback here?
He did. He
beat
did.
a couple guys. So is this a punishment for the British Bulldog being in this match?
I mean, he's the European champion at this time, so I don't know if it's a punishment.
He looks real good. Yeah, I didn't like it though. Like the teams made no sense.
Mm-hmm. This is
probably,
the ultimate head scratcher.
Yeah, this is a D plus. And this is 9 minutes and 8 seconds, so around the same as the first Survivor Series match. So didn't drag on for too long, but it was hard for me to get invested in the match because I didn't care about anybody that was in it.
Okay, here's how I think of it. I like Mark Henry. I like Steve Blackman. I like Davey Boy. Val Venus can go jump off a cliff for all I care for. Gangrel, cool character. I think the person's actually a nice person in real life, from what I've heard. Mean Street Posse, I don't have anything bad to say about him because I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him. So, what in the blue hell was this match? Jeez.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, the fact that Davey Boy did make an attempt at a comeback is nice.
And
so
return to the company, like, is this like one of his first matches back?
No,
I-
he's been there like a couple months at this point.
A couple months at this time. Okay.
Yeah.
So they
So
found a spot for him. Mean Street Posse was there. Yeah, put them together.
so I gave this match a D.
Okay, so we're bang on.
Almost, yeah.
I'm guessing it's like half a star for Dave.
You're close. Quarter of a star.
What? Just what? How does he come up with this shit? Seriously.
Oh,
Like what? I think that's a 16th of a star.
a
Like
16th of a star.
just the top part. Like,
That's-
come on.
I think we need to create that rating now. A 16th of a star.
Yeah, like okay, why don't we just start doing percentages? Okay, you know what? I'm giving that one 18.75%. Like, okay, you don't like the match. So he said a quarter of a star?
Quarter of a star.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have been fine. Well, this next
I like
match,
doing the Dave Meltzer stuff because it just fires me up.
this next match we're going to talk about, I think should have gotten a 16th of
Okay, hold on. Let me time out for a second before we go.
Okay.
So you're telling me the last review we did, the evening gown match.
Oh my God, yes.
It did better than these 8 guys working their ass off for nothing. Than Sable and Luna.
Oh my God, that's right. He did give that half a star.
Yeah, it was half a star. And I believe the opening match in Unforgiven got half a star as well.
Oh my God.
Who was the opening match in that one?
Was that? I think that was the 6-man.
Yeah, it was freaking Nation of Domination versus Farouk, Shamrock, and Steve Blackman. Look at Steve Blackman. He's in it again. Another half star, quarter star performance here.
Poor Steve.
Oh, like Dave,
Oh my
are you
God.
freaking kidding me?
And we only look, the only reason why we've done Meltzer's ratings now at this point is kind of just to make fun of them in a way.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, because like we don't really take them seriously unless they're like really good, like Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, like if there's a 5-star match,
Yeah,
then quarter star match, obviously.
right, yeah, but we don't really take it seriously.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of taking things seriously, our next match is and this is how it's described as a women's sudden death match. So basically, first fall wins.
Yeah, and they made comments about Mae Young.
Oh God. Yep. So this is get ready for this lineup. Mae Young, Fabulous Moolah, Tori, and God help us all, Deborah.
Mrs. Stone Cold at this point.
Yep. Against Jacqueline, Luna, Terry, and Ivory.
Yeah.
And before the match, there's a segment where Michael Cole goes in the back, and Ivory's like, "Why don't you rub some lotion on me?"
Yeah. Michael Cole looks all nervous, like never.
Oh my God. Okay. Go ahead. Please just patch this.
I just have to say one thing. If Meltzer rates this higher than the Main Street Posse British Bulldog match,
this is our last episode.
Might be the end of the Dave Meltzer comparison because I don't think I can handle it. This match went 1:52, and it was about 2.5 minutes too long.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is what it was. Like it was basically a Survivor Series match, but one fall to finish because they probably sat in the back like, "Oh my God, this is 8 minutes."
Dear God, please.
This is 8 minutes, way too damn long. Let's just do sudden death match. Like, I just remember cringing the whole time. I can't really remember a whole lot. I remember the end when Mae Young and Moolah were like beating down somebody.
Moolah got the pin.
Yeah, Moolah gets the victory.
She got the pin.
Well, she has creative control in her
Yeah.
contract. So Moolah was sitting back there like,
Yes.
Vince, sign this check now, or I'm not going out there.
I'm gonna pin the champion.
She pulled a warrior. She's sitting in the back like, I'm not going out until I get what I want.
She's got Cuban cigar.
I want doilies in my locker room, going on the end tables, and a spot of tea.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this that based on pure wrestling, this is an F for sure. And if this match rates higher than any other match, then I just don't know about Dave Meltzer. Like, I really don't know. Like, the Evening Gun match got half a star, and the last match we talked about got a quarter
of a star.
So how many stars does this get? A 16?
Hold on. We'll get to it in a minute.
A 28th of a star? Is that even a fraction? I don't think it is, but Dave might think it is.
Okay. The commentary is what saves this match for me.
Oh, Jerry Lawler.
It is so funny because JR's like, hey, Kane, I think May's got a tattoo of you. It says JL and NY. And then Jerry makes fun of Jim Ross during the match. He's like, Tori makes the tag to the pterodactyl.
Yeah, you know what? The commentary did save this match.
Oh my god.
So you got
yeah.
for doing JR, by the way. Yeah.
Moolah
you got a tattoo on her leg, JL.
and what?
That's Jerry Lawler.
Okay, so Moolah does get the win, and then after the match, Deborah does the only physical thing she does in this entire match by taking Terry's top off. That's the only physical thing she does in the match.
Well, the crowd appreciated it. It's kind of what they wanted in '99. You know,
I guess. Okay. The only reason this match is getting the grade that it's getting is because of the commentary.
Yeah.
The commentary saves this match for me. I'm giving it an E.
What's an E? That's some American.
Yeah, it's an American thing.
Okay.
All right, now for the moment,
I didn't think of the commentary when I was making my grade, so I will change my grade to D- because it did help.
All right, now for the moment that DK has waited for.
Oh my god!
I'm not even going to make a guess on this one.
A 16th of a star is my guess.
Negative 1.5 stars.
Okay. Is there like a reason? Can you read it?
Yeah, let me read this. It was really awful, but at least it was kept short enough that Lawler never ran out of recycled Helen Hart jokes about Moolah and Mae Young. Young took a bump out of the ring right away. Jacqueline delivered the worst DDT in history on Tori. Yeah, she kind of did. Moolah and Mae Young delivered the slowest double clothesline in history on Ivory, and Moolah pinned her.
What were they, 80 years old each? What do you expect?
Picture Steve Williams and Terry Gordy doing that double tackle spot in their primes. Okay, this move looked nothing like that. Deborah pulled Terry's top off after the match, leaving her in her black bra. For whatever reason, somebody must be getting nervous because they clearly avoided shooting Terry from the front in her bra, and mistakes like that simply don't happen on WWF broadcasts. Lawler did get to say that her cups runneth over. It fell short or long of its promise of being the worst match of all time.
Okay, minus 1.5 stars. Okay,
minus 1.5. So
okay.
All right.
I don't think I would ever do a minus because people like they go out there, they're trying their best. The storyline like can only take you so far.
Exactly. Like a dud is like as far as I would go.
You know what I would love to see? I don't know if they have these, but if they had like a watch along of like a match like this with like Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, just watching it, like the girls that have like transformed the evolution of women's wrestling. I like to watch their reactions to matches like this, and to see what they think of like what women had to do in the 90s to even get on TV wrestling. It's really too bad.
It is.
But that's kind of what we knew at the time. Like that's what women's matches were.
And the thing is, like, Luna can wrestle, Jackie can wrestle, Ivory can wrestle, Moolah and Young could wrestle back in their day. It's just
I don't know how old they are in 99 here, but they didn't look terrible in the match.
No, they didn't look terrible.
Probably could have had like an actual match if they had the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Next match is X-Pac versus Kane.
Yeah. Why don't you start us off?
Okay. You know what? I enjoyed this match. It's a brief match. I think it goes like 5 minutes.
15 it says here.
How long?
4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Oh, okay, yeah. Basically it's just Kane is trying to catch X-Pac, which he does. And then at the end of the match, Road Dogg and Triple H come out, attack Kane, and X-Pac's gonna come and do the Bronco Buster on Kane. Tori runs out because she's in a relationship with Kane. She turns X-Pac around and X-Pac kicks her.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
played off if you didn't notice it was her.
So as far as the match goes, because I remember watching the whole thing with them as a team, and it was really fun to watch.
So this is like recently when they break up as a tag team? Because I thought they were a pretty good tag team.
I gave this a C.
Yeah. X-Pac. And so DX is like back together here because they break up at WrestleMania of this year. It was strange to see Triple H interfere in a mid-card match when he was in the main event. Usually you don't see that. Usually you save those guys. So that kind of surprised me when he came out. Because I wasn't sure if DX was still an actual faction because they did break up in April of 99. So that kind of surprised me. I was like, oh wow. Yeah, and like I always like X-Pac matches. I thought this was pretty good. Wasn't too long. And yeah, I always thought Kane and X-Pac had good chemistry. So I could definitely see them wrestle a few more times. I'm with you on the C grade.
Okay. Now, would you like to guess what Meltzer gave this match? It's a wide variety of this show.
Heartburn, man. Like Jesus. 2 2/8 stars.
Half a star. I know. For those that are listening on audio, DK just walked out.
Half a star. Half.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is a quarter better
than the 8-man tag.
Gangrel and 3 people that he shouldn't be a team with.
Right.
Bulldog and 3 untrained idiots.
But it's the same rating as the evening gown match.
Ugh, I forgot about that shit.
Okay. So after that is over, Rock is trying to cut a promo. Triple H interferes and they have a brawl. So remember that for in a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Okay? Now we go to our next Survivor Series match. It is the Big Boss Man, Prince Albert, Mideon, and Viscera against the Big Show.
and the Big Show had partners, but he beat them up in the back, I believe.
Yeah. So his partners, for those that are curious, were Ty and Ty and the Blue Meanie.
Okay.
And when they show the footage of him beating them up, and you can hear Meanie like, "We're on your side. We're on your side."
Stop hitting us. We're friends.
So this is during the infamous Big Show's dad dies angle.
Yeah. So was this an angle?
Yeah, but
Like, did his dad die?
yeah, I think his dad did eventually die.
But he didn't die at this point. It's like, I
Right.
know this horrible storyline where Boss Man's like pulling his coffin down the street. Obviously, that wasn't based on reality, but
right. That
sometimes when someone's dad dies or mom or something, they kind of turn it into a storyline, which I kind of find not great.
It depends on how it's done.
Yeah.
Like this one.
Like there was one where when Eddie Guerrero died and Randy Orton was saying he's in hell. And
oh yeah, I remember. I was pissed.
I'm like, and then Vicky went on the TV like later and said it was her idea. He asked if he could say that, and she was like, "Yeah, Eddie would love that." So, but I always thought that was a bad taste.
Yeah, it kind of was.
So I was always curious if
I remember
because there were so many like I remember before he was known as Andre's son.
Yeah.
In WCW. So then they're like, "Oh, his dad died." I'm like, "Yeah, his dad died in '93. Remember, Andre?" And then apparently that wasn't true. So
I remember he did come out with a home video on Big Show. I think it's on the WWE Network. And he does mention like when they did the 10-bell salute for his dad, and he was like, "The fact my dad got a 10-bell salute, that was a cool moment."
Yeah.
Which it probably was for him. So
totally.
Okay. This match is so quick. We're gonna review it. Big Show chokeslams Midian, eliminated. Chokeslams Albert, eliminated. Chokeslams Viscera, eliminated. Yeah, Boss Man gets counted out. Big Show wins. There you go.
Yeah, Big Show gets the big victory. He doesn't get that
satisfaction of the Boss Man.
With Boss Man, I'm wondering if do they have like a one-on-one match where Big Show does get his revenge on Boss Man?
Yeah, the next month.
The next month, okay. Well, that's good.
Will it be for anything? You have to wait and see. Okay. I'm actually going to give my grade first because it's a good 90-second match. Like this is the only match of the Survivor Series elimination matches that has a backstory, and it's just Big Show's kicking all their asses. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I gave it a D, but it's kind of like a high D, almost a D plus, but I'm just going to leave it at a D.
So D and a quarter?
Sure, a D and 1/16.
God damn, I hate him so much. Better if because Big Show's a babyface here.
Yes.
You think it would have been better if he came out with the three guys.
Right.
He got in the match a little bit. Match was a little bit longer. Big Show finally gets tagged in, similar to the Survivor Series you were at. This is what
with Undertaker, yeah.
Yeah, the one with Undertaker. He's the main focus of the match. And it's very similar psychology to what happened with Big Show here.
Yeah.
Undertaker is there for revenge, just like Big Show is. And then Undertaker finally gets tagged in, destroys everybody. Mabel, who's in this 99 match, actually it's Viscera, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Mabel runs off. He doesn't get his revenge on Mabel. It's very similar.
Yeah.
I think if Big Show was on the side and then he finally gets tagged in and then gets the big pop, I think it would have been a little bit better, but him beating up his guys in the back saying he doesn't need them, I guess that that changed it a little
Yeah.
bit. I
So
was
what?
just curious.
So what did you give this match?
Oh, well, it was so quick.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like I knew what was going to happen at the end because I know what happens
Mhm.
at this point. So I kind of figured that Show would win quickly just to save his energy and stuff. But yeah, I didn't really like it that much. It was too predictable what was going to happen.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll give this a D minus.
Okay.
D minus and 3/4.
I don't know if I want you to guess Meltzer's rating.
Oh, it's probably worse than the Mae Young match.
No, but it's the second worst.
Minus a
1
quarter
star.
star.
Minus 1 star.
Minus 1 star. Okay.
Minus 1 star. Okay.
That's a cool.
Okay. Now, let's get to what this show is most remembered for. Stone Cold is cutting an interview in the back. Triple H attacks him. They're fighting. Austin is chasing Triple H. You see Road Dogg and X-Pac following behind. Austin is in the garage, in the parking area of the Joe Louis Arena.
Yep.
All of a sudden, this car turns its lights on, probably going 50, 60 miles an hour. Probably wrong with that. Breaks a gate, runs over Stone Cold Steve Austin, and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when this happened. I was shocked because it was supposed to be Austin Rock Triple H. You know, that's the main event.
Yeah.
Or at least I didn't know because I wasn't, into the dirt sheets and all that at the time. I didn't know he needed neck surgery. I really didn't. So when this happened, I was like, oh my God. Like, he could be dead. Like, I didn't think that, but, there's. So JR leaves commentary, runs out.
Yeah.
Vince is out. Shane is out. Stephanie's out. Test is out because Test and Stephanie are engaged to be married in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, And then Triple H comes in, and then Vince is like, "What did you do that for? What did you?" He's yelling at him, thinking that he did it. And Jerry's like, I can't believe this has happened. And they load him up. Vince tells someone to get his car because Vince is supposed to be the guest referee for this title match.
Yeah.
So he goes with Austin to the hospital. My first, I didn't even think about who was driving the car. I really didn't. I just this dude just got ran over. So I want to read, because I just found this. Meltzer says something about this because apparently 2 weeks prior to this, David Flair got run over by a car. So I'm going to read this quick sentence. All those people who watched David Flair's stuntman take the same hit 2 weeks ago on WCW and him come back without even a scratch a few days later while Austin will be out for months must think David Flair is the toughest SOB in all of pro wrestling.
Yeah. I didn't like how they wrote him off TV.
No, I didn't either.
I know that the WWE doesn't care what I think, but I think it's absolutely brutal that you advertise Stone Cold Steve Austin for a main event.
Mm-hmm.
You pay, honestly, if that was me back in the day, I would have paid my front row ticket price to see Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was the guy I wanted to see. There was probably a lot of people in Detroit that night that did that, and then they don't get to see him.
Yeah,
they get to see him. I think that's why he comes out a little bit before that, I don't think we talked about it on the review so
No,
far.
we didn't get a
It's come
chance.
out, and he does make an appearance with the music. So I think that was part because they did advertising for the show. So he comes out, you get to see him for a few minutes. I now pay-per-view buys would have been lower, and maybe the gate would have been lower if they'd done this on the Monday Night Raw
Right.
before the show. I so that's probably why they didn't do it. But I did not like how they do this to Stone Cold, and then kind of screw the Detroit crowd out of seeing one of the greatest three-way matches
That would
we.
have been an incredible match.
Yeah, because Triple H was the champ. He was main event status at this point. The Rock was the Rock, and Stone Cold was like the man.
Yeah.
Like
It's like Austin is at his peak, Rock's almost at his peak, and Triple H is almost at his peak.
yeah, I would even say the Rock was at his peak, and
Yeah, he might be. Yeah.
like,
I
like
think
when Austin was out, and the Rock was the number one guy in 2000, the year after this, then
I'm
he became that man. But so yeah, I do kind of agree with you that he was almost there.
I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit on this. I think you could have done this spot, but do it after the match.
Yeah.
You could have done this at the end of the show.
Well, I think what happened was he went to the doctor, and then it was basically like you can't wrestle until you get this done. It's
Right.
not like to have one more match and then get the surgery. I think he had to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
He was putting it off and off. The SummerSlam that year, I believe he was really hurt. He didn't want to. He was in the main event, but he didn't. He wasn't part of the pinfall.
Right.
He was this, and then this all came back to that '97 Owen Hart
SummerSlam,
driver, and he kept putting stuff off, and then he finally had to go get surgery. So,
Yeah.
and then at this point, we still don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to be a
Exactly.
triple
We
match?
don't.
Single match? Still don't know. So,
All right. So now we go to the Intercontinental Title match. Chris Jericho challenging China.
yes, and we were going to talk about this a little bit on the Jericho show, but I said let's wait because we're reviewing this show. This match was kind of crazy.
It was
very stiff. I thought Jericho it's documented he did not want to work with her.
Yeah.
He didn't see her as the same level at the Intercontinental Champion status. So yeah, what did you think of this match?
It had its moments. And I could I could tell like a couple of the spots where it looked like he was being stiff.
Yeah.
I thought there was a little too much chicanery in the match. You know what I mean? Like at the beginning, China and Miss Kitty double teaming Jericho, and then Kitty gets kissed by Jericho. Jericho's a lucky man. I honestly think Miss Kitty is underrated as far as women in WWE go, but that's just me.
Jerry Lawler's wife at this point.
Yeah, I know, but still, she's still good looking.
Oh, yeah, I'm not holding that against
Bubble
her.
wrap bikini, folks. That's all I gotta say. So but once they eventually got into the ring, like they were trying to tell a good story, or at least a story. And it was Jericho that carried this match. It really was.
Oh, for sure.
I liked the end spot with the pedigree from the top.
Yeah.
It could have been a little worse, but it actually wasn't. So I think the right person went over in this match. So I don't have an issue with that. I gave this a C plus because at this point the show's kind of eh.
Yeah.
This is kind of where it turns around for me.
It's kind of funny. I went back and forth when I was watching this. I'm writing my grade down when I think the match was about to end, probably around the 7-minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept like I liked it at the beginning. I had it as a C. And then I'm watching it some more. I'm like, oh, this thing's dragging on. China's missed some things. The Miss Kitty part's kind of lame. Okay, D plus. then keeps going back and forth, back and forth. At the 10-minute mark, I'm like, I'm starting to get back into this match, which doesn't normally happen to me. Once you lose me, you lose me normally. That's one thing. This match goes about 14 minutes. And you know what? By the end, I was like, wow, I really like this match. And then I look back, I'm like, I had D plus scratched out twice.
Wow.
My final grade's the C plus.
Okay.
I like they got me back. That does not happen. If you guys listen to the show before, you know that I don't like matches when they drag on. I don't like it when it's kind of the same thing over and over and over again. This match lost me and got me back a couple times. I did think Jericho was a little tough on Yoni this one, couple times. But yeah, like I think Jericho ends up winning the title from her in the next
month.
So China gets a big victory here on a major pay-per-view. Big deal for her. Yeah, so C plus for me.
Okay. Would you like to guess what Meltzer gave this one?
I don't know like what his opinion on China was. So like I could see this being like a decent grade to like a horrific grade too. So I'll probably say 2 stars.
1 star.
Okay. So he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. All right.
All good.
Now, this next skit is really good. I didn't even remember it when I watched it, but after it, I was like, oh my God, this is pretty funny. So Shane, Test, and Stephanie are in the locker. And I think Patterson and Briscoe are there as well. Triple H and X-Pac come in. Shane's about to kill him.
Yeah.
And then Triple H is like, we had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
And then as this is going on, Hunter asks, so does the title match now become a one-on-one? Get out.
Rough, right?
Get out.
Like Austin's not here. I like the acting skills here.
Yeah. This was good.
But the funny part about this skit, I'm glad you brought the skit up. Because Triple H says to Shane, hey, I didn't have anything to do with this. And then Shane's just like, oh, you didn't? Okay. So then he just believes him.
Right.
Like Triple H would lie about it. Like, hey, just so you know, I organized Austin getting run over. It wasn't actually me. So.
By the way, is it going to be a one-on-one now?
By the way, it's just being Rock, right?
Get out.
Did you notice part when they're talking about the car running over Austin? Jerry Lawler says something. He says, I think it's a blonde guy.
Yes, I did catch that.
Now I don't think like who ends up running him over when they find out later in the year.
Yeah.
I don't think they knew that they were going that way on this date. I'm thinking maybe they thought they were going to do Triple H, but him saying blonde guy, like there's a lot of blonde guys. So I guess you think maybe they went, oh, Jerry Lawler said this, so now we have to find someone that's blonde.
Yeah, but that's almost a whole year. I never, I didn't even think about it when I was watching this when I was young.
That's like when we're doing these reviews, I pay a little bit more attention to some of the people say to see how.
And I'm going to point it out, not in this next match, but the one after. We see somebody for the first time all night. So I'll kind of jump onto that theory after this next match, because DK, we have one more Survivor Series match to go over. It is Hardcore Holly, Crash Holly, and Too Cool against Edge, Christian, and the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, kind of a big deal here. I couldn't pay attention to this match because I was laughing too hard at Jim Ross saying Grandmaster Sexy. Every time he says it with so much emphasis.
You are stupid, Jerry.
You're stupid. Grandmaster.
Your son is acidine.
And Yeah, like when we did our Royal Rumble 2000 review, that was like a big part of the Royal Rumble for me is when Brian Christopher was in there. Honestly, like it was, yeah, this is a pretty good match, but I don't remember much of it because I was laughing the whole time.
Okay. One of the highlights actually for me, of this is Jeff Hardy hit a 450 on Scotty Too Hottie. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even remember Jeff ever doing that move,
No.
which is incredible. It really
Yeah.
is.
Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys, they end up going on to big things here.
Mm-hmm.
And Too Cool was a good team. They like I
They were
the
very
commentary
happy.
was good. Commentary was good. It's like, oh, you gotta put your goggles on.
If he kept his damn goggles on.
Yeah. So yeah.
Um,
I really like the match, to be honest.
yeah.
It was
So
fun.
it ends up a 3-on-1 situation with Christian being the one.
Mhm.
And he makes a comeback to get it to a 1-on-1 situation. But Hardcore Holly gets like a small package pin to win the match. This is actually my second favorite match of the entire show.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's how good this match is.
One thing I was looking at, like that's why I like doing these reviews so you can see like character transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Unforgiven 98. We had Bombastic Bob.
Bob. Yep.
Now we got Hardcore Holly. Which character did you like better?
Oh,
Bombastic
hardcore.
Bob or
Hardcore Holly. That's not even a question.
who would win in a match? Bombastic Bob versus Hardcore Holly.
I
Yeah,
gave I gave this a B.
like a guy like we were talking about Elias.
Mm-hmm.
How he couldn't catch on like maybe even storyline.
Yeah.
Like a guy like Hardcore Holly starts off as a spark plug.
Yeah, as a NASCAR driver.
NASCAR driver. Then he goes on to this Bombastic Bob thing. I don't know if he had anything between those two. And
I
then
don't think so.
a year and a half later, he's Hardcore Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Different haircut, and now he's a badass. So
But
just
yeah,
you have to be a wrestler to continue your career.
Yeah, I gave this a B. I really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, you know what? Like with the commentary, I'm not gonna go as high as you. I'm gonna give this a C plus.
Okay.
But I did like it a lot.
All right. I'm gonna let you guess. What do you think Meltzer gave this match?
Oh shit, I don't know. I this guy goes all over the place.
He has with this show tonight.
This is a better match.
It is.
Is he gonna like 2 3/4 stars?
You're very close. 3 stars.
Okay, I was gonna say 3 stars, but I didn't think you'd go that high. Okay, cool.
All right. So we go to the back. Shane announces that Austin is not going to compete in the match. No shit, Sherlock. However, it is still going to be a triple threat match for the WWF title. We just don't know who the third guy is going to be yet. So we go back to the ring. It is time for our semi-main event, the WWF Tag Team titles, as the New Age Outlaws defend against Mankind and Al Snow. And hey, look, it's the first time we've seen Billy Gunn all night.
Is it really?
Yes.
So where was he when everybody else was helping out?
I don't know. Was he maybe at the car?
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
He's blonde. Maybe it was going to be Billy Gunn.
Now, real quick before we get into our thoughts. In Mick's second book, he said that this was originally going to be his final match. This was going to be his final match. But because Austin had to have the neck surgery, he was convinced to go a few more months.
Yeah.
So this was going to be his farewell match.
Well, I'm glad that it wasn't.
Exactly.
because we got to see some really good Cactus Jack stuff with Triple H, which I think really helped Triple H's early career as champ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't a huge fan of this match. Al Snow, like I always like New Age Outlaws. Al Snow and Mankind, they didn't do a whole lot for me. We have a special guest on the show, the Bike Ride and Alexis, over here in the corner of the video. If you're watching on video, and now she runs off. Bye bye. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of had a hard time grading this one. Yeah, 14 minutes tag team match. New Age Outlaws do get the victory here. What do you think about this one? This is a little bit tougher for me. I like it had some good parts, but I didn't like it too much.
This is kind of the same situation that you had with Jericho and China.
Yeah.
This match kind of lost me for a little while, but it did get me back towards the end.
Okay.
And
that one kind of like in the same boat, I think.
Yeah. I wasn't where I was changing my grade back and forth, but I did enjoy the few like final minutes of the match. I'm actually going to change my grade here, not by much from what I originally had. I'm going to give this a C.
Okay.
I had it as a C plus, but thinking about it and you talking, I was like, you know, you kind of have a good point. So I'll just go with a C.
I do remember, like, when I was watching this, it did drag. It's 14 minutes for a tag team match. It's a little long for me. Yeah, C minus. I kind of did go back and forth a few times. Like it didn't really like the way you're explaining, like it lost you and then you got it back, kind of like with the China match for me. I didn't really get back into it. So yeah, unfortunately, like C minus is still an okay grade.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's nothing great.
All right. Why don't you guess what Meltzer gave this one?
1.5 stars.
Again, you're very close. 1.25.
1.25.
1.25. Okay, now it's time for the main event of this show.
Dun, dun, dun.
Triple threat match for the WWF title. Rock comes out first. Then Triple H comes out. The announcers notice Earl Hebner's the referee because, again, Vince was originally going to be the guest referee. But who's the third guy? It's Big Show.
Yeah.
And the crowd has not a great reaction. Not the worst, but it's like,
no, okay, I did notice that. Do you think that, like, were they expecting somebody bigger? Like, I don't mean bigger as in size, obviously.
Right, but talent.
Like, if you look at the roster, someone that maybe didn't show up that maybe could have. Is there somebody?
See, if Undertaker had not gone off to get surgery,
yes,
maybe I could have seen him.
Right, yeah, because Undertaker was out and he comes back as the American Badass in spring of 2000, I believe.
I'll tell you who I think would have made the most sense in all of this.
Okay.
Is Test.
Okay.
He's not on the show. He doesn't have a match booked. He's about to get
crowd though.
But he's about to get married to Stephanie McMahon. He's in the hottest angle at the time.
Sure.
So, pardon me. So it's kind of like you kind of had somebody there. He doesn't need to win the title.
Right.
But he could be involved and be like, oh, Tess, you know, he's come to save the McMahons or something, blah, 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 blah. Because the wedding is like 2 weeks late. Which that in itself is its own story, which we're not going to get into today.
Right.
But
I thought it was kind of an interesting guy to throw in there. He had shown up in February.
Mm-hmm.
I I would love to do a big show show.
Yeah.
Because I think they totally dropped the ball. This guy 99. He's a number one free agent. He comes in, I believe he loses the Stone Cold on Monday Night Raw. And then he was pretty much buried after that.
Like when he comes in, he's basically the heir apparent to Andre the Giant.
Yeah. What they should have done, he comes in February, he just dominates everybody, and then he wrestles, like he becomes the champion, and then Austin beats him at WrestleMania 2000 if there's no injury to Stone Cold. Right. That's kind of what I would have done, the whole thing. So yeah, I kind of think they screwed up his time there, but this was kind of a big night for him professionally. I thought he did pretty well in this match.
Oh,
I
yeah.
liked the match.
I thought all three did well in this match.
Kind of like almost high flying at some points there. So, yeah, for a triple threat match with three guys he didn't expect to be in there, I thought it was pretty good. I liked the match.
Yeah.
Triple H and The Rock working together was kind of cool to see, because you didn't expect those two guys to do that ever. Anything to survive a match. And Big Show ends up winning the title here. And
I liked the ending.
Did not expect, like, I obviously knew he won the match,
right.
Which nice if you could almost erase your memory at times. And
like I didn't expect it at the time.
Yeah, when you watched it live, you throw, usually when you throw a guy in because of an injury, he's just there to fill a spot.
Kind of like a placeholder. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ending, Hebner gets knocked out. Shane comes in as the referee. Yep. Shane gets knocked out. DX comes out. Vince comes back from the hospital.
Yep. Just in time.
He hits Triple H with the belt. Big Show chokeslam Triple H to a nice pop.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Big Show wins the title.
And Vince was able to do the pin because he had his ref license that night or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because he in his suit counts to 3. So.
And what I liked about is, because I don't know, because like sometimes you could tell, when someone wins like the world title, them crying or not. When I watched it at the time, I kind of felt that authentic, moment. Big Show crying, holding on to the belt like it's a teddy bear.
Yeah.
He's celebrating.
That's why I thought his dad may have actually passed away.
Yeah.
Was showing like real emotion in the ring. Like that might just be him going, they've crowned me, I've made it.
Those are the moments that I enjoy, are when you see the real emotion come out of people. Like when Miz won the belt, he was holding back tears. Or Kurt Angle when he won the title the first time. Those are the really good, like, feel good moments. I do want to add one thing, then we'll get to our rating and Meltzer and stuff. They cut off like the end of the show while Big Show's celebrating. I still have like the recorded tape of this show. There's not much that they took out, but I just want to point it out. They quickly go to a commercial for the Armageddon pay-per-view, and then they come back, and Big Show's walking to the back. He's holding the belt, and then Fink announces him one more time as champion, and that's how the show actually ends. They just take that out. I don't know why. I'm not complaining about it. I just wanted to point that out.
Sure.
So what did you think of this match?
I liked it. Like it was at times, like even knowing the outcome, I thought anybody could win, which makes it more enjoyable. And it's kind of, if you like, let's say you watch the major shows,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't watch the December pay-per-view this year,
Right.
like, because in Royal Rumble 2000, Triple H is the champion.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably go, oh, Triple H wins this match because this is November. He
Mm-hmm.
probably wins. So you might get a little bit surprised there. Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to almost go back in history and see like how many last minute replacements have won titles. Probably not very often.
Yeah.
So the surprise factor, if you're watching, like if we were watching this as a live show, not knowing the outcome would be huge. Having Big Show win the title here. Yeah, so I gave this match a B minus. I think it's my highest rated match of the night.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it.
I'm a little bit higher than you on this match, but it is a very good match. I think this has aged well, surprisingly, considering everything that happened with Austin.
Yeah.
I gave this a B plus. I really enjoyed the match, and the ending was just a really good ending because it's like nothing against Rock. You could have won this, yeah, but he's already had it a couple times. Let's wait a little bit. Could
Exactly.
Triple H have could Triple H have won this? Yeah, but he's got something else coming up. Big Show winning this is just out of nowhere. And yeah, the reign's not long, but it's like I said, it's still like a feel-good moment of him winning the title the way he does. So yeah, I gave this a B plus. What do you think Meltzer gave this one?
And you never know what he did, right?
Yeah.
I'll probably say 3 stars because it's a pretty good match. With some really good performers. So I'm gonna say that's pretty close.
2.5.
Okay.
So
So
you
I'm
were close
close to
again.
what Meltzer's thought. There's been a couple like brain farts for sure.
Yeah.
This part, but
I will say, as a show overall, my thought now is still the same as it was then. This is just a fun show.
definitely.
Because, like, every once in a while, you and I, we will get these shows that maybe aren't thought of highly as the best or greatest or whatever, but it's just fun. It's a fun show. There's no like historic. I mean, the Austin being run over is a historic moment, but
And that's what the show's known for.
right. But if you watch the show, it's a fun show, even with the bad stuff in there.
Definitely.
So I like it. It's not a top 10 all-time show, but it's just a fun show to watch.
Yep.
All right. That's gonna do it on that note. So check out our Facebook group, the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. And that's pretty much it.
I will say one thing. We are trying a new concept, possibly.
Yes.
We would like to kind of do a live show where you guys can watch in real time and like interact with us.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do it as a pay-per-view review
mm-hmm.
because maybe we'll give you the time of the show and you guys can all watch the review or watch the pay-per-view and then maybe even interact with us based on our ratings and what you thought of matches and stuff. It'll be fun.
Yeah, so, and once we figure all that out, we will let you all know.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a little bit still. We still have to figure out software and what platform we'd run on and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. So. But should be fun.
It should.
Yeah, there's only a few of you in here. That'd be cool. Just interact with a few people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right.
Thanks for listening and watching, and looking forward to the next show, which I don't know if we have set in stone yet. I know our next review is going to be Judgment Day.
Right.
2001.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, we haven't talked about our next wrestler review.
We'll have to figure that out.
There are a few guys that I've been kind of contemplating here. So
yeah,
we'll talk off screen about that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you all next time.
Have a good one.